Last fall, Kate, me, and the lovable but elusive husband of mine made our annual trip to the Kansas City Renaissance Festival. We had to travel through Topeka, Kansas's capital, but took the back roads. From this approach, Topeka looks like every other small town in Kansas, and I kind of like that. No costumes this year.
Hi, we made it. We're here.
Kate and I did decide to look like twins. It was Gypsy Weekend at the Ren Fair, which meant extra shows like this one. It was both cool and clammy, which meant I felt bad for the performers because they were cold and because the dusty ground stuck to them. I had seen the guy in the front row with the long hair in the same role last year, so some of the mysteriousness of being a gypsy character was lost on me. They added fire later and encouraged the audience to whoop and yip along. By that time, I was cold from sitting still and kind of wished they would just set the bale of hay we were sitting on fire for warmth. There are several places to buy drinks around the grounds, but the main pub has a nice seating area up top. Earlier in the year, it's covered in vines much more and a shady place to sit. I was glad of the thin sunlight that day.
And what do you have there, Kate?
A little cider.
And what did you bring for me?
Mead.
Yay! Hi, so we finally stopped to rest in the upper half of the pub. I had chicken and chips and cider, and Rachel had a BLT and mead, so we are good to go for the afternoon.
Here we are with our drinks. This is Kate and her cider. The cups for mead were smaller, but that was okay as the mead packed a little more punch than regular beer. We each had a light lunch. Usually we get gyros, but this year we didn't find the stall that's on the edge of the grounds, and we didn't want to walk far enough to find it. There's a stage at the front of the pub, and a juggler was performing with fire sticks while we ate.
Kate, my rainy senses are tingling. I think there's going to be a parade.
So there's a storyline to the day, and every year it culminates with some character marrying someone else, but in the meantime there are parades, teas, feasts, and even a joust. Some years it's just a dark and handsome prince or princess from a foreign land getting married to the Rennie prince or princess, and some years they've invented a people called the Vulgarians. However, I think this year was a Queen Elizabeth theme, so I'm not even sure there was a wedding. Anyway, the parade is a good thing to watch to see the characters, but as this was the first parade of the day, the end had several of the regular merchants advertising their own presence. The parade was quite long. Let's speed things up and cut to the end. Here are the gypsies again, and here are the merchants' flags. Other than mead, the other indulgence I have is the hookah tent. It's a relaxed hangout spot, but this year it was actually a little busy.
Wave? I don't know.
I'm not saying anything.
The roof has always fascinated me. This year while relaxing, we met a character who usually helps out near the blacksmiths, but was frustrated at being a volunteer and proceeded to talk video games with my husband for nearly an hour.
That was the only weapon. In the second game, I played as a sniper.
We split up after lunch and the hookah tent.
So we found some Moscato, and we were going to go down to the Mermaid Commons down there.
Yeah, and why didn't we not go down there?
Because I was quoting Monty Python. I said, we shouldn't go to Mermaid Commons. That's a silly place. And you took me seriously.
I did. I thought you didn't want to go there.
We're going there now.
While wandering around, we met a lady with her owl. She was advocating wildlife protection and management, but the real attraction was the bird on her hand. I was glad Kate got this picture, and although the owl is clearly sleepy, I think it looks a bit like both the lady and the owl are laughing.
So last year it wasn't quite this cold, but it also wasn't raining.
Well, let's take a look and see if it's any different.
I was actually trying to match this video clip with one I took the year before. The arbor leads into a manicured garden area with seating and eventually the afternoon tea service and a small chapel.
Last year it was also October, and this year it's early September, so it's still a little more green. Oh, I see a fountain. Let's go.
The KC Ren Fest has expanded over the years to include animals, rides, and animal rides, mostly for the kids. Although it had been sunny that morning, there were clouds in the afternoon, and the cold clamminess was threatening to spill over. And here's the fountain.
So here we are.
It started raining in the afternoon. We didn't film much after that.
Well, it's time to leave. I got my wooden mug and my jingly bracelet, and all in all, even though it's still clearly raining, it's been a successful day.
And let's leave it there. We had an okay time this year, but next year I'm bringing a coat and umbrella just in case.